Hi kiddos! Today's story is called Mousetronaut, and it is written by a real astronaut. So in the beginning of a book, when it has a cover like this, not all picture books have this, but most chapter books do, then there will usually be a description in the front sleeve here of what the book is about. And then if you want to know more about the author, there's usually, let's see if you can see that, it's kind of glaring, a little bit about the author and the illustrator. So I'm going to read a little bit about the author because it's kind of cool. Astronaut Mark Kelly was a captain in the United States Navy when he commanded the final mission of Space Shuttle Endeavour in May of 2011. A veteran of 4 space flights to the International Space Station, he's a graduate of the Marine Academy. So he was in space. He went up to the space station 4 different times. Isn't that really cool? So, Mousetronaut. Oh, look, donated to the Rivendell School Library by Brenda Dyer. So Brenda donated this book to the library. That's kind of cool, huh? Mousetronaut, based on a partially true story. The space shuttle is set for a launch, and the astronauts are doing their last-minute training to prepare for the mission. NASA is sending along some special guests for this flight, and they are training too. Look at the guests. What are they? They're mice. The mice are training too. Takes a lot of preparation if you're going to go in space. One mouse is smaller than all of the rest. His name is Meteor. The other mice know he will not be chosen for this important mission, but someone has his eye on Meteor, and he is impressed with the little mouse's hard work. Which one do you think is Meteor? I think it's the one in the wheel, because he's littlest. And he's working hard, even though he's the littlest. The shuttle commander announces that 6 mice will be selected for the flight. He picks 5 of the biggest, strongest mice, but for the 6th spot, to everyone's surprise, he chooses Meteor. Look, even Meteor's surprised. He's going to go up in space. All 6 are taken to their new home, a special cage called the Mouse Hotel. The other mice are nervous as the countdown begins, but not Meteor. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff! At first, the mice are pressed flat against their cages by the power of the launch, but then the pressure goes away. The other mice cling to their cage in terror, but not Meteor. He loves the feeling of weightlessness. Hey, little guy, the commander says, you are a natural. You're floating. You're a real live mousetronaut. He's comfortable up in space. He likes it. Look at those guys are afraid, but not him. Look how happy he is. Whee! Meteor is taken from the cage and gets a tour of the space shuttle. He can even see the Earth a long way off in the distance. Wow, look at that. Here's the whole picture. The astronauts are all very busy during the 14-day flight. There are spacewalks to take and experiments to conduct. But what can Meteor do to help? Then, while answering email, one of the astronauts notices the key to the control panel stuck between the monitors. When he tries to get it out, it accidentally gets wedged farther down. This isn't good, says the commander. We need that key back. One astronaut tries to move the monitor, but it doesn't budge. Another slips her fingers into the crack, but the key is stuck down in the crack too deeply. One even tries pushing it out with a long piece of metal, but no luck. No one can reach it. The astronauts are getting worried, but as they discuss the problem, a tiny figure has an idea. I bet I know who it is. Being the smallest isn't a bad thing, Meteor says to himself. Maybe I can be useful on this flight. Meteor squeezes his way into the crack. The space is dark and cramped, but Meteor spots the key and tugs at it with all his might. Hey, look what our tiny friend has done, the commander says. He has saved the mission. Let me show you these pictures better. There we go. See, he's got the key. Yay! Good job, Meteor. When the shuttle returns to Earth, Meteor is declared a hero. He's even given a brand new uniform and an official title, Mousetronaut. Look at his uniform. It looks just like the other guys. Isn't that cute? It's so cute. And all the astronauts cheer and applaud, but Meteor is already thinking about his next big mission. He's adorable, isn't he, in that little astronaut suit? Now here it says afterward, and it's a little bit about this book. It says, I flew, and this is the author, who is Mark Kelly talking, and it just looks like this, so there's not really a picture, otherwise I would be showing you. I flew with mice during my first flight on Space Shuttle Endeavour. Just as NASA takes care with its human astronauts, animals are treated with consideration for their needs. Special cages were constructed with mesh that the mice could grip with their toes. Pressurized water containers and compressed food were installed, and a waste containment center was created to keep things clean. During my first flight in 2001, there were 18 mice on board. All of them, with one exception, clung to the inside of the mesh during the entire mission. One mouse, smaller than the rest, seemed to enjoy the experience and effortlessly floated around the cage. The story of Mousetronaut is inspired by that mission. We all watched this little mouse with amazement enjoy the feeling of being weightless. I started to think about that mouse and what it would be like to have him as a part of our crew. That real mouse stayed in the research cage through the mission, but he is what I based this story on. That experience is the partially true part of the story. So that's why it says it's partially true story. So there really was a mouse on the mission, and he really did like the experience of being weightless. But I don't think he really saved the key, and I don't think he really got a space uniform. That's a pretty cute story, Mousetronaut. Awesome. We'll see you guys soon.